In 1923, amidst the turbulent tides of Jim Crow, a visionary project was born in a small inlet off the coast of North Carolina, Shell Island Black Resort. This oasis stood as a beacon of hope, a sanctuary that promised to defy racial segregation until one day it mysteriously burned to the ground. So today, join us while we talk about the mysterious burning of the Shell Island Black Resort. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. But without further ado, let's get started. For Black residents in Wilmington, the desire for recreational spaces was not new. In light of the lead-up to Shell Island's inception, they faced systemic exclusion from beaches along North Carolina's coast. Repeated petitions for access to Wrightsville Beach and attempts to establish segregated beach havens were met with persistent denial. Behind these refusals laid thinly veiled prejudice masked as claims of potential property devastation. As Wilmington historian Mark Valentella articulated, local property owners would argue that it was going to make their property values go down, but they just didn't want to be in proximity to Black folks. In the early 20th century, the Shell Island Resort emerged as a symbol of progress and unity, attempting to challenge social norms of the era. This ambitious project was spearheaded by a coalition of investors. Making it more than a business endeavor, it was a powerful statement of the empowerment of the Black community. Key figures in its initiatives included Black doctors, lawyers, ministers, and a white entrepreneur. The resort was the brainchild of Thomas H. Wright, a real estate developer and former mayor of Wrightsville, along with collaborators Charles Parmalee and Robert Northup. Wright envisioned a 2-mile stretch of beachfront north of Wrightsville Beach as a sanctuary for Black families. Dubbed the National Negro Playground, Shell Island was designated to become a place where Black families could enjoy leisure and dignity away from segregation and discrimination of the time. The resort development initially included a modest bathhouse, but Shell Island began to transform with a $10,000 investment. Plans were laid to develop a pavilion, a bathhouse, a restaurant, and a landing pier, fostering a vibrant community of Black vacation homeowners. The Shell Island Beach Development Company was instrumental in this vision of targeting middle-class Blacks, particularly those in Wilmington, selling approximately 270 lots through their home realty company. Shell Island distinguished itself from other Black accessible beaches in the South by offering more amenities at a prime location. Unlike privately owned beaches such as Atlantic Beach in South Carolina or Highland Beach in Maryland, which offered fewer conveniences, Shell Island catered to the affluent Black middle class, attempting to turn its 70 acres into a coveted destination. However, all of this was in the backdrop of the 1898 Wilmington insurrection, which was a violent coup where white supremacists overthrew a democratically elected government, leading to tightening Jim Crow laws in the South and prompting significant migration of Black citizens to the North seeking better opportunities. Thomas H. Wright was a member of Wilmington's Light Infantry, which was involved in episodes of intimidation and violence against Black folks. But despite this, he envisioned Shell Island as a potential site of Black-owned and managed resort. His development aimed to fulfill the societal and recreational needs of New Hanover County's Black community and show the white business community's commitment to improving race relations and the living conditions for Black laborers. Economically, he anticipated significant profits from real estate sales and financing home constructions on the island's 270 lots, which greatly benefited him and his business partners. Through all of this, the success of Shell Island's resort largely depended on transportation from downtown Wilmington, a task that was overseen by a man by the name of Ruth McCray. He was the president of Tidewater and the principal developer of the Wrightsville Beach and other properties along the trolley line. While he greatly benefited from the region's development, he was also a leader of the Secret Nine, which was a group of white supremacist business owners that planned and executed the Wilmington coup, and he personally led mobs of vigilantes against the Black citizens in the town of Wilmington. Outwardly, McRae was amenable in letting Black riders travel to Shell Island using the electric trolley service although they would have to ride in entirely separate trolley cars on an entirely different schedule. So when the resort officially opened its doors on May 30th, 1923, it was heralded as a new era for Black culture. Shell Island quickly became a celebrated destination within the Black community, fulfilling a deep-seated desire for spaces where they can enjoy freedom and leisure and peace. Its stunning beaches served as a backdrop for a myriad of talent, attracting college choirs like the Hampton Harmony Six, jazz musicians like Lindsey Brown, and the Murrow's Orchestra from Charlotte. However, the resort success was overshadowed by this rising anxiety and hostility from the white residents and business owners of nearby Riceville Beach. They viewed Shell Island as a threat to their concept of exclusive white vacation destinations. And this fear was exacerbated by racial stereotypes and perceived threats to their economic interests. As efforts to undermine the resort, public officials began to spread rumors that Riceville Beach had been ceded by the Black community. As the resort entered its third season, tensions began to escalate into a series of fires that devastated the facility. Official reports labeled the fire as having been an undetermined origin, but they were widely believed to be deliberate acts of arson aimed at dismantling the resort and preserving racial segregation in the coastal community. Resort investors, facing mounting losses and the possibility of further violence, ultimately abandoned Shell Island in the winter of 1926. The underlying issue were not solely external, but internal. The economic model was unsustainable even before the fires, rooted in selling real estate plots. By the mid-1925, only 2 of the 270 planned lots were sold, suggesting that the destruction served as an exit strategy for investors who had already lost interest in the project. Interracial class struggles also added to the complexity as developers struggled to sell cottages to the affluent target market amidst the backdrop of less elite visitors. Although affluent Black patrons from the Northeast frequented the resort, working-class locals from the Carolinas, primarily manual laborers and mill workers who also sought the leisure there, resulting in an economically mixed clientele. This diversity led to tensions. Wealthier Black visitors seeking legitimacy in the eyes of white society will often hesitate to associate with their less affluent Black guests. Additionally, installment plans for lots were unattainable to poor buyers, hindering sales. Despite its brief existence, the legacy of Shell Island Black Resort remains a testament to the pursuit of progress and dignity for Black vacationers. After the resort's closure, Black families in the region utilized portions of the land to create leisure spaces such as Seabreeze. The narrative of Shell Island Black Resort endures not just as a story of failure, but as a powerful chronicle of resilience. It exemplifies the ability to maintain hope and illuminate the pathway towards freedom, even amidst ruins. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy, and this has been the story of Shell Island. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by Buy Me Coffee, my Patreon page in the description below. Please subscribe to my second channel, One Mic 2, and I'd like to thank all my financial contributors. Without you, none of this could be possible. Peace.